तव कथामृतम् तप्त जीवनम् कविभिरीडितम् कल्मषापहम् श्रवणमङ्गलम् श्रीमदाततम् भुवि गृह्णन्ति ये भूरिदा जनाः भुवि गृह्णन्ति ये भूरिदा जनाः।
ओम तव कथामृतं तप्त जीवनं कविभिरीडितं कल्मषापहम् श्रवणमंगलं श्रीमदाततं भुवि गृह्णन्ति ये भूरिदा जना. We are studying the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, and we are in the conversations of 24th October 1885, and the conversations are going on for a long time, and Dr. Sarkar wanted to go, but Sri Ramakrishna had made him stop because Girish has not yet come. At this point, Sri Ramakrishna is holding him by asking one or two questions. How is Narendra? How do you see Narendra? How is this devotee? And at this point, we take up English page 878, middle, Bengali 948 towards the end. Mahima is talking. Mahima Charan is a scholar. He has read many things and he is talking. Mahima. It can by no means be said that one knows philosophy unless one has read Hindu philosophy. The European philosophers do not know the 24 cosmic principles of the Sankhya philosophy. They cannot even grasp them. A lot of things can be said about this first line and second line separately. First line is that philosophy, unless you know Hindu philosophy, you are not supposed to have known philosophy. Now here, philosophy can mean intellectual search for truth. Now, in India, Hindus especially have not only realized the ultimate reality and made philosophy therefrom, but their philosophy is absolutely rational, supra-rational. Now, let us take one example on this point. The Westerners used to talk of, even today they have written that name, 92 elements. And then as research progresses, they go on. Now I think it is 105 or something like that. And similar to them was the lowest philosophy, orthodox philosophy in India called the Vaisheshika philosophy, the atomists. But after the discovery of nuclear physics, the name element has become meaningless. Element was supposed to be that particle of matter which does not undergo any change. It may combine to make something else, but it is the least elementary particle. But now the Westerners say that there is proton and electrons are moving, and so many smaller particles they are talking. Indian philosophy is a very different thing. Experiential philosophy. I will tell some names given by people who understand. The Western attitude is to divide subject and world made of objects. And they analyze the objects and make philosophy therefrom. In India, well, I'll tell the terms themselves. Science or Western philosophy is the critical study of objects. The Hindu philosophy is critical study of experience of man. Man's experience today in ignorance is a subject experiencing the objects in different ways. But the ultimate truth has no subject-object break, first thing. That the Western world does not know. Now, our today's experience is of 5 types. Swami Vivekananda has explained this nicely in the Western world also. We have no means of experience ordinarily except sound, touch, vision, form, taste, and smell. Have we got any other means of experience? Have we got? No. Let us analyze this experience. In the experience of objects, that object, I am putting it rationally, but it is actually experiential. That object must have something which is causing sound in my ears. Do you understand? Then that something which causes the perception of sound is an element. We call it Akasha Tattva with Shabda Guna. This Western world does not know. This is the real element. The object I experience through my touch sense must have something in it to cause this touch sense. I'm putting it rational, actually analysis of experience. So, in every object of the world, there has to be something which causes touch. Soft, hard, hot, cold, smooth, rough, touch. This Western world does not know. In everything of the world which causes me to see a form, shape and color, that something is called Teja Tattva. Fundamental. In the objects which I experience the taste thereof. So there has to be something in all the objects which causes taste. This is called Rasa Tattva or Jala Tattva or Apa Tattva. Western world does not know it. in every object that I experience, there has to be something which I experience through my smell organ. So that is called Gandha Tattva, Prithvi Tattva. Now, Swami Vivekananda says, suppose I had an electric sense, then the world would have appeared different for me. So, the analysis, critical analysis of the experience is made in all Indian philosophies, especially Vedanta. This the Western world does not know. It assumes that the reality is objects. I experience, they do not analyze that. Who is this I which experiences? There is no analysis. So, Mahima's telling is correct that unless you know the Hindu, these are all parts of Hindu system, mind you. Indian we say, but in the gospel it is said Hindu, Mahima said Hindu. So, without knowing the Hindu way of looking at the world, where do we get philosophy? So that is a true statement. Now, Mahima next comes to Sankhya philosophy. In Sankhya, there is one Prakruti, the matter element. Matter. Akasha is indiscrete matter, I said. But even before that, another way is everything consists of Sattva, Raja and Tamo. This Western world does not know. Is it not? Everything in the world consists of something balancing, equipoise, light, something causing restlessness, dynamism, coloring, likes and dislikes, something causing inertia, non-intelligence, jadatva, sleep, etc. So the Sankhyas count everything through these three fundamental properties or elements of matter. Now, when these three are in a balanced state, then that is called Prakruti, the original. Now it undergoes change and it becomes the universal mind, that is called Math. From that universal ego is born. From ego, we get these five subtle elements. They combine to make my mind, my organs, and the whole subtle world. They also combine to make gross elements. And that gross elements is what is the object in science. So this is in a nutshell the Sankhya idea. And that is says as 24 tattvas. Tattva actually should mean elements. But here 24 basic principles. That is called Sankhya philosophy. Now, this is not known to the Western world. And as Mahima says, they do not even grasp it. So, this is the idea. People may sing praises of the Western philosophy. That is very objective, very objective. How do you believe that there are objects? Who has told you? We are not sure of any object of the world. What we are sure is our experience. That we are sure of. We experiencing the world as Shabda Sparsha Rupa Rasa Gandha. This we are sure of. We are not sure that there are objects. For example, Patanjali Mahamuni tells us that if we concentrate on our nose in a particular way, we will get all the smells which we require. So where are objects? Without any objects outside, we can get Shabda Sparsha Rupa Rasa Gandha. So these are something very, very fundamental. The very process of thinking is different. Process of thinking in the Western world is by assuming that the world consists of objects and we try to analyze those objects without thinking who is experiencing what is the experience. In India, the thinking is basic is human experience, analyze that and find the conclusion. Anyway, I think this clears my mass telling to some extent. Now, Master, smiling. What are the three paths you speak of? What is this question? Maybe Mahima knows, and maybe Hindu philosophy is greater, but Thakur wants practical spiritual life. Thakur wants to change the direction of that thought. Philosophy is not sufficient. Our practical spiritual life is more important. He's smiling because the analysis may be correct to some extent, but he's smiling because he wants to change the course of thinking. That is Sri Ramakrishna. Any thinking, he makes it change towards our experience of God, the ways of experiencing. And so he is asking Mahima. Mahima is a scholar. So he is asking Mahima, what are the three paths you talk of? So that analysis may be by Mahima Charan, but he is talking of paths. Paths to realize the absolute nature. So that is much more important in Thakur's view. Understood? This is the reason of his smiling. Now, Mahima says, Mahima, the path of Sat, which is the path of knowledge. Next, the path of Chit, of yoga, of Karma Yoga, which includes the duties and functions of the four stages of life. Last, the path of Ananda, the path of devotion and ecstatic love. You are he's telling Thakur, you are an adept in all these paths. You can speak of them all with authority. This Mahima has missed totally missed. No, what he's telling is wrong. Except the path of Ananda, we know when we concentrate on the Chit aspect, we get knowledge, Jnana Yoga. Jnana Yoga depends upon the Chit aspect of Brahman, the consciousness aspect of Brahman. He says, Yoga, Karma Yoga depends upon that. Karma Yoga and Raja Yoga both can be said to depend upon the Sat aspect of Brahman. Sat, Brahman exists. It is the existence of all existences. It is the power of all powers. And that, when thought of as a path, becomes both Karma Yoga and Raja Yoga. So here Mahima has missed the point totally. Path of Chit is that of Jnana Yoga. Path of Ananda is the path of Bhakti Yoga. There is no doubt about it. So here Mahima is talking by his own, you talk of Thakur said. So Mahima is talking from his own mind, not based upon scriptures, not based upon scriptural authority. It is manufactured in Mahima's mind and it is missed. Now Thakur does not analyze or care about that. At least there are paths. And Mahima says, you are adapting all these three paths. In that Mahima is correct. His definition may be wrong, but Thakur is adapting all paths of reaching Brahman. And he can talk with authority on every path. So this last statement is correct. But the description of path according to three aspects of Brahman, he has missed anyway. So now, Sri Ramakrishna laughed because that last statement is correct. So he laughed. He does not correct Mahima there because after all he has talked of paths. Dr. Sarkar took his leave. He could not wait further, though Girish has not come, but Thakur held him for some time. Now he has to go. Then these talks have ended. Then next, in Bengali it is a next para. That is, it was evening. Yes, in Bengali there is a sub-heading. In Bengali there is a sub-heading in between. So at least we should mark a para beginning there. It was evening, the first night after the full moon. On 23rd, we had that Kojagiri Purnima, full moon, and now after that, first night. Sri Ramakrishna stood up, lost in Samadhi. Nitya Gopal stood beside him in a reverent attitude. Sri Ramakrishna took his seat. Nitya Gopal was stroking his feet. Devendra, Kalipada, and many other devotees were seated by his side. Remember, Thakur is in Shampukur because of his illness in his body. Master to the devotees, my mind tells me that Nitya Gopal's present state will undergo a change. His entire mind will be concentrated on me. Me means on him who dwells in me. Don't you see how Narendra's whole mind is being drawn toward me? So Narendra was a man of multifarious powers in his personality. He was good in reading, in this, and he was much given to Western mode of thinking, which Mahima just now criticized. Narendra was given to rational mode of finding the truth. And when he came to Thakur, he saw spirituality direct. Now, it was a tussle for many days. And then he understood that Western philosophy or that mode of thinking will not yield truth to me. And so, slowly, gradually, mainly because of Thakur's infinite love for him, he has been trapped in the way. And his mind is wholly gone to Thakur. That Thakur points out, because it is a change. And Thakur says, Nitya Gopal also will come to that change. For that he is showing Narendra's example. that it was not like that, but it has changed. Similarly, Nitya Gopal will come. Now it is getting night, so many of the devotees were taking their leave. Sri Ramakrishna stood up. Referring to japa, he said to a devotee, japa means silently repeating God's name in solitude. Japa means silently repeating God's name in a solitude. So japa is internal. There should not be any external digression. There should not be any mental digression. That is the meaning of japa. When you chant his name with single-minded devotion, you can see God's form and realize him. So, Thakur's teachings are pure spiritual. Through japa, one can realize God, provided it is done with whole mind. Nothing of the outside world goes there. Nothing of the mental world goes there, except for God. And so, full concentration, japa, silent in solitude, you can see God. You will have direct experience of Saguna Brahman. You can see God. Suppose there is a piece of timber sunk in the water of the Ganges and fastened with a chain to the bank. So he is giving an example. You proceed link by link, holding to the chain, and you dive into the water and follow the chain. Finally, you are able to reach the timber from shore to the timber. In the same way, by repeating God's name, you become absorbed in Him. So it takes you to subtler and subtler fields. You become absorbed in Him and finally realize Him. Not as a sudden, not as a jump, but there is a process. You go subtler and subtler with more and more love and absorption in God, finally resulting in direct experience. Kalipada, smiling to the devotees, he is talking to other devotees, smiling. Ours is a grand teacher. We are not asked to practice meditation, austerity, and other disciplines. Here, many things can be said. We are not told. Devotees like Kalipada are not told. But Thakur has clearly told his future Sannyasin disciples to practice meditation, austerity, and other discipline. And they mad like, ghost like, did it in the Varanagara Math and throughout their pilgrimages in India. Now, Thakur has laid out a different path for certain devotees who can have full faith in his words. And through that faith, they can proceed. That is what Kalipada tells. Suddenly, Sri Ramakrishna said, "This is troubling me." You understand this? Very important thing, suddenly, very important thing. Kedar is thinking, not that. Kalipada is thinking Thakur is God. Thakur is incarnation. We just believe in him, we'll get everything. At that point, Thakur said, "This is hurting me. That means he shows there is a avatar, not God. There is a God in human form. And in spite of that, do you believe? Have you taken into consideration that God in human form is suffering from cancer? And still do you believe? So that is what Thakur is intervening. It's very, very important. Because this we have seen throughout. When Girish talks of Thakur Avatar, Thakur talks of his Bimari. Not only that, he asks someone, give a lecture on why I am suffering. So he is reminding, he is God, no doubt, but is God in human form. And in spite of that, can you feel he is God? Seeing his suffering, can you see who is in God? Then only your faith will be complete. So that is why suddenly he explains that. Thakur is a master teacher. The master's throat was hurting him. Devendra said, your words cannot fool us anymore. So Devendra is one of them. Devendra believes Thakur is showing his suffering, is not showing actually suffering. So a group of his devotees, especially the householders, not all, not Master Moshe, not Balram Bose, but many of the other household devotees were thinking like that, that Thakur is feigning. He is only showing he is not well. Actually, he is well. Now, this myth was broken by Swami Vivekananda. And he has a human body. Human body will have human relations, human reactions. In spite of that, consciousness is God consciousness. This we have to analytically see. He is God, should not make our mind blind to his human aspect and human suffering. Then only his avatar, he has come down as man, he is teaching us how we should think of God even in our suffering. We suffer a little and we forget God. So Thakur's cancer is also for teaching the devotees, not by showing only, not by feigning only, but by actual physical suffering, and yet his mind is in samadhi. That is how we should learn from Sri Ramakrishna. So Devendra said, your words cannot fool us anymore. He thought that the master feigned illness to hoodwink the devotee. Okay? So with this Master Mahashay's comment, Master Mahasaya is not succumbing to that. So he has commented. Now that topic is also over. Most of the devotees departed. It was arranged that a few of the younger men should stay to nurse the master by turns. M also was going to spend the night there. That is M special. Whether M is a householder or a sannyasi, he is somewhere in between. So he wants to stay in the night also. So we go to the next day, Sunday, October 25, 1885. It was about 6:30 in the morning because they slept there itself. When M arrived at Shampukur, that means he spent the night there. Early morning he has gone to his house and come back at 6:30. Krishna Dvitiya, that 24th was the next day. Now it is the second day. Okay. No, according to Bengali, it is not exactly like that. In Bengali, it is not clear that master came at that time. No. He might have been there. The master Masha's duty was to go to Dr. Sarkar every day reporting Thakur's health condition. For that, he is asking Sri Ramakrishna how you felt. So please, there is little difference here. M arrived at Shampukur, doubt. He was in Shampukur, perhaps. He came to Thakur. He might be sleeping there in a different room. Then after morning wash and all that, ablutions, he has come to Sri Ramakrishna. That seems more rational. There should not be mistake even in small things when we are thinking of a direct recorded history of Sri Ramakrishna. When M came to Thakur, and asked Sri Ramakrishna about his health. He was on his way to Dr. Sarkar to report the master's condition. The master said to him, tell the doctor that during the early hours of the morning, my mouth becomes filled with water and I cough. Also ask him if I may take a bath. Doctor's permission. After 7 o'clock, M came to Dr. Sarkar's house and told him about the master's condition. The physician's old teacher, the doctor's old teacher, and one or two friends were in the room. Dr. Sarkar said to his teacher, Sir, I have been thinking of the Paramahansa since 3 in the morning. I couldn't sleep at all. Even now, he is in my mind. So, even his mind has been drawn to Thakur. One of the doctor's friends said to him, Sir, I hear that some speak of the Paramahansa as an incarnation of God. You see him every day. How do you feel about it? These are some rationalist people. Doctor, I have the greatest regard for him as a man. So, doctor gives his own judgment and correct judgment. The underlying answer is that I am not thinking whether he is incarnation or not. Don't ask me about that. But as a man, I have the highest regard for him. See the correct answer, diplomatic answer, M, to the doctor's friend. M can intervene. It is very kind of Dr. Sarkar to treat him. That doctor does not like. Doctor, kindness, what do you mean? M, not towards him, but towards us. So, Master has changed that. Master Masha, that he is kind towards us. We are serving the Master. We want him to be treated. And that doctor is doing free of cost. Doctor, you see, you don't know my mind, my actual loss on account of the Paramahansa. Every day, I fail to see 2 or 3 patients. When the next day I go to their houses of my own accord, I cannot accept any fee, since I am seeing them without being called. How can I charge them for my visit? Some doctors will charge that also. The conversation turned to Mahima Chakravarti. He had been with the master when Dr. Sarkar had visited him the previous Saturday, pointing to the Dr. Mahima, had said to Sri Ramakrishna, "Sir, you yourself have created this disease in order to pamper the doctor's pride." That is Mahima's idea. That doctor will cure me. That is, doctor's pride will increase. So you have created this disease. It is not as the other devotees that there is no disease. You are feigning, but at least you have created this disease so that if doctor cures it, his ego will rise. M. To the doctor. Mahima Chakravarti used to come to your place to attend your lectures on medical science. She wants to divert it a little. Doctor, is that so? How full of tamas he is? Didn't you notice it? I saluted him as God's lower third. Sattva-raja-tama are all from God, so lower third, I saluted him. There exists in God Sattva, Rajas and Tamas. Tamas is the third and an inferior quality. Didn't you hear him say to the Paramahansa, you yourself have created the disease in order to pamper the doctor's pride? So that is wrong. That is due to his tamas. M. Mahima Chakravarti believes that the Paramahansa can cure his disease himself if he wants to. Not as the other householders, but he has created the disease, he can cure himself if he wants to, but he has given you to treat. So this is a halfway, his own thinking, one may say, his own thinking, no base. Doctor, what? Cure that disease himself? Is that possible? We are physicians. We know what cancer is. We ourselves cannot cure it. And he to cure himself. Why? He doesn't know anything about cancer. To his friends, the illness is no doubt incurable. But these gentlemen have been nursing him with sincere devotion. So this is incurable, but he can be relieved of the pain as much as possible. And that is what these people are trying. These people are also trying with the hope that it can be cured. And so on that point, doctor is absolutely not agreeable. He thinks that their knowledge of medicine is supreme. Thakur is a patient. He is spiritually high, but is a patient as a man. He does not know what is cancer, etc. So these are the different views of people around Thakur. M requested the doctor to visit Sri Ramakrishna and returned house. In the afternoon, about 3 o'clock, M came to the master and repeated the conversation he had had with Dr. Sarkar. He said to Sri Ramakrishna, today the doctor embarrassed me. Master, what happened? M, yesterday he heard here that you yourself had created this illness in order to pamper the doctor's pride. Master, who made that remark? M. Mahima Chakravarti. Master, what did the doctor say to you? He described Mahima Chakravarti as God's lower third. Now he admits that all the quality. Now he admits this is not Western. All the three qualities, Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas, exist in God. The master laughed. So his view is changing. Then he told me that he had waked at 3 in the morning and had been thinking of you ever since. When I saw him, it was 8 o'clock. He said to me, even now the Paramahansa is in my mind. Master laughing. You see, he has studied English. I cannot ask him to meditate on me. Western educated people. But he is doing it all the same of his own accord. So Thakur's love, attraction, and high spirituality have made this possible for the doctor. M. He also said about you, I have the greatest regard for him as a man. Master, did you talk of anything else? I asked him, what is your suggestion today about the patient? He said, suggestion, hang it. I shall have to go to him again myself. What else shall I suggest? He wants to go to Thakur every day. So he said, from here I am not suggesting, I will go there. Sri Ramakrishna laughs. Further he said, you don't know how much money I am losing every day. Every day I miss 2 or 3 calls. So all this, Master Maharaj says, is embarrassment. There were many devotees, including Narendranath in the room. Vijay Krishna Goswami arrived and respectfully took the dust of Master's feet. Several Brahmo devotees came with him. Vijay had cut off his connection with the Brahma Samaj and was practicing spiritual discipline independently. A little comment. Vijay Krishna Goswami, as his surname suggests, was born of the Goswami Vansha, that is Chaitanya's associates. And so he had devotion, faith in Sakar, Sagun Brahma as his instinct, as his old sanskaras. But he became a lover of truth. That was another quality in him. So when he got some education, saw what the Brahmas are doing, he thought Nirakar is the correct due to reason, Western reason. And so he joined the Brahma Samaj. He signed their register that I will believe only in Nirakar, not in Sakar. Now there was a split with Keshav due to some other points. He and Shashadhar made, Shivram made another Samaj, but now he is getting attracted to Thakur. Not only attract, a great quality in any spiritual teacher worth his name. Because I have seen it in my Guruji center, is to arouse the internal sanskaras of a man. This is external coating. Western education, even Swami Vivekananda is Western education, though he came from Saptarshi. So, Sri Ramakrishna could arouse the innermost sanskaras of a man. And because of that, Vijay Krishna Goswami started getting experiences of the Sakar Brahma. Now, how he can work with the Brahma Samaj? He is a lover of truth. So Thakur's definition of truth is you have to follow your belief, your experience. Some people do not understand this. Truth in the world is not a fixed quantity. Truth, absolute Brahman is a fixed. But truth in this world, relative world, is not a fixed quantity. It depends upon your innermost faith, innermost feeling, innermost experience. And so Thakur supported Vijay in full. So due to Thakur's influence, Vijay's all sanskaras have been aroused, and so he severed here. Now he was a paid preacher from Brahma Samaj. He had given up his profession of teaching in college or school, and so he suffered a great financial loss. Vijay had cut off his connection with the Brahma Samaj and was practicing spiritual discipline independently. Sri Ramakrishna was very fond of him on account of his piety and devotion. Not because of this faith or that faith, piety and devotion. Though not a disciple of the master, Vijay held him in very high respect. He had lived in Dhaka a long time. Recently, he had visited many sacred places in Upper India. Upper India, I had told, North India. In the map, it becomes upper. आपाततः पश्चिमे अनेक तीर्थ भ्रमणेर पर सवे कलकत्ता फिरे छे. Bengali, Pashchim, west of Bengal. That's it. West of Bengal is for whole India consideration north of Bengal, north of India. And that becomes upper India. This translation should be changed. It should be west of Bengal. Or UP, Bihar. Recently has visited many sacred places in North India. Mahima Chakravarti to Vijay. Mahima is asking Vijay, sir, you have visited many holy places and new countries. New, that is Bengali method. New states, new provinces, not countries. He has not gone outside India. New areas. Please tell us some of your experiences. Vijay, what shall I say? I realize that everything is here where we are sitting now. His respect for Sri Ramakrishna is still here where we are sitting now. This roaming about is useless. That is his conclusion. At other places, I have seen 2, 5, 10, or 25% of him, meaning the master. At the most, here alone I find the full 100% manifestation of God. So that is his judgment, though he is not disciple of Church. Mahima, you are right, sir. Again, it is he who makes us roam about or remain in one place. So he goes one step further. He is God, he is Antaryami. He makes us do all these things to realize that everything is here. Mahima, master to Narendra. So Thakur avoids that and talks to Narendra. See what a change has come over Vijay's mind. He is an altogether different person. He is like thick milk from which all the water has been boiled off. You see, I can recognize a Paramahansa by his neck and forehead. Yes, I can recognize a Paramahansa. Thakur has this supreme quality of recognize a man's inner things by his outer symbols. Mahima to Vijay. Sir, you seem to eat less now. Isn't that so? So Mahima wants to go on digging Vijay about that. Vijay, perhaps you are right. To the master, I heard about your illness and I've come to see you again. In Dhaka, he wants to tell something, huh? Master, what about Dhaka? Vijay did not reply and was silent a few minutes. About Dhaka, he saw Sri Ramakrishna. That is what he is going to tell. Vijay, it is difficult to understand him unless he reveals himself. Here alone is the 100% manifestation of God. First he said, God only. Yeah. Master. Kedar said the other day, at other places we don't get anything to eat, but here we get a stomach full. Another way to express. Stomach full. Satisfactory. More than satisfactory. Mahima. Why a stomach full? It overflows the stomach. So Mahima wants to overdo everywhere. Same thing. Vijay to the master. With folded hands, I have now realized who you are. You don't have to tell me. Master, in a state of ecstasy, that people's faith or experience like that always brings up the Godhood in Thakur. Master, in a state of ecstasy. If so, then so be it. If you understood what I am, so be it. Saying, yes, I understood, Vijay fell prostrate before the master. He held the master's feet on his chest and clung to them. The master was in deep samadhi, motionless as a picture. The devotees were overwhelmed by this sight. Some burst into tears and some chanted sacred hymns. All eyes were riveted on Sri Ramakrishna. They viewed him in different ways, according to their spiritual unfoldment, some as a great devotee, some as a holy man, some as God incarnate. So, Master Maharshi says it is according to their spiritual growth that they can judge Sri Ramakrishna. Mahimacharya sang with tears in his eyes. Behold, behold the embodiment of love divine. Now and then he chanted as if enjoying a glimpse of Brahman. That is Mahima has a show also, glimpse of Brahman. He's singing, huh? Turiyam Satchidanandam Dvaita Dvaita Vivarjitam. The transcendental, beyond the one and the many, existence, knowledge, bliss, absolute. Navagopal was weeping. Now, up till now, Navagopal is not mentioned. Anyway, but Navagopal is there. Navagopal Ghosh, in whose house the first established Thakur in a householder's house. Swami Vivekananda himself did it. That is Navagopal. Navagopal Kanditechan was weeping. Bhupati sang, another devotee. Hallowed be Brahman, the absolute, the infinite, the fathomless, higher than the highest, deeper than the deepest depths. Thou art the light of truth, the fount of love, the home of bliss. This universe with all its manifold and blessed modes is but the enchanting poem of thine inexhaustible thought. Is its beauty overflows on every side. O thou poet, great and primal, in the rhythm of thy thought, the sun and moon arise and move towards their setting. The stars, shining like bits of gems, are the fair characters in which thy song is written across the blue expanse of sky. Partly allegorical, partly song, talking of Sri Krishna as the absolute reality, the year with its 6 seasons in tune with the happy earth, proclaim thy glory to the end of time. The colors of the flowers reveal thy sovereign beauty, the waters in their stillness, thy deep serenity. The thunderclap unveils to us the terror of thy law. Deep is thine essence, truly. How can a foolish mind perceive it? Wondering, it meditates on thee from yuga to yugas, and millions upon millions of suns and moons and stars bow down to thee, O Lord, in rapturous awe. Beholding thy creation, men and women weep for joy. The gods and angels worship thee, O all-pervading presence. O thou, the fount of God goodness, bestow on us thy knowledge, bestow on us devotion, bestow pure love and perfect peace, and grant us shelter at thy hallowed feet. Bhupati sang again, upon the sea of blissful awareness, waves of ecstatic love arise, rapture divine, play of God's bliss. Oh, how enthralling! He sang a third song. Here vanish my fear and my delusion, my piety, rituals and good works. Here vanish my pride of race and caste. Where am I? Where art thou, O Hari? Thou hast stolen my life and soul, and now, O friend, thou dost desert me. Ah, what a fool I was to come here to the shore of this sea of love. Full to the brim with heavenly bliss is filled this little soul of mine. Premadas says, poet, hearken, one and all, this in truth is the way of God. After a long time, Sri Ramakrishna regained consciousness of the word. Here we stop. Om Tava Kathamritam Tapta Jivanam Kaviviridhitam Kalmashapam Shravanamangalam Srimadatam Bhui Grunanti Ye Bhurida Jana Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat Shri Ramakrishna Arpana.